Today we are going to write our own color poems. And before we do that, we need to watch a video, a BrainPop Junior video, about our five senses. Because as poets, when we generate and brainstorm ideas, we always think of our five senses and we want to use them as we write our poetry. So first let's watch a video about our senses.
Ew, what is that smell? Is it your lunch? It smells like dirty socks. What are senses?
So before we continue, I want you to think to yourself, what are your five senses? The main five that we use. So give it a second, think. Did you come up with them? Let's see what Annie and Moby have to say.
Senses. Touch, sight, hearing, taste, and smell are all senses. There are also other senses, like balance and pain. Your senses collect information for your nervous system. The brain and the spinal cord are part of the nervous system.
So we're not going to continue with this video because it goes more in depth with our nervous system, and we want to really use those five senses we just talked about. So now we want to go back to the site and continue using our five senses to write a color poem. So if we click the link provided, it'll bring us to the framework or a template of a color poem. And you can see we have smell, taste, sound, which is hearing, look, which is sight, and touch, feels. If you go to the download up here, it will bring us, here we go, we move this over, to our color poem template, which we can write in. So what you have to do first is brainstorm. All good writers always brainstorm. We think of what we want to write about. So since it's a color poem, come up with any color you'd like. I'm going to do red. And then the first line of this poem is always going to be red. This whole poem is going to be about red. So I can type in red, I can copy it, I can paste it to make it easier. Paste. Okay, and now we can start getting some ideas down. So red reminds me of, close my eyes and think about, what does the color red remind me of? So I'm going to write, red reminds me of a bunch of roses. What does red smell like? Maybe I want to go back and change that. Maybe I want to add this, because I can really smell those roses. So maybe I want to cut this and paste it here. And that's what's good about doing your poems on the computer. So red smells like a bunch of roses. So now I can go back either now or later on and think of, well, what does red remind me of? I know this fall I went apple picking, so maybe it reminds me of crisp apple. Red smells like a bunch of red roses. Red tastes like, thinking spicy. How about hot chili peppers? What does red sound like? When I close my eyes and I'm getting some sounds in my mind, I always picture maybe like a fire truck. Ooh, forgot the fire truck. Or maybe not just a fire truck, maybe it sounds like fire truck sirens. Red looks like, I'm picturing a sunset, a beach sunset, exploding with colors. Red feels like, again, that hot feeling, fire and flames. And finally, what is red? Maybe I can list some different ideas. Red is bright, dangerous, and hot. Maybe an exclamation point. And when I'm done with this, I can go back and obviously proofread my work, check my spelling, make sure I have all the words I need in there. I can go back and I can change the font, I can change the color. Maybe I want it even brighter. I'm going to save it and I'm going to print it out and I'm going to add it to my writing folder. And that's it.